For the second time on this wonderful Sunday, I welcome you back to the land of Strangely Musical. I had a request when I did the album review of Ses Crew's latest release to do Hopsin's Knock Madness. Thankfully, I had already heard the album well in advance of that request, so here's the review at last. The album was released back in November of 2013. Took me till about March of this year to finally find a hard copy, because I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and some stuff you don't catch it on release day, you're gonna be lucky if you catch it ever. So finally got a hard copy, and before I talk about the album itself, and just give the background like I normally do. It is released on Hopsin's independent hip-hop label Funk Volume. Guest stars are his label mates Jaron Benton and Dizzy Wright, Swizz. Outside of the label, Strange Music's Tech 9, as well as Passionate MC and G Muskie. And if anyone has any song with the last two on it, please send it to me, because I'm always looking for new people to listen to, and I really like their contributions to this album. But more on that when I talk about the songs. But the album itself is just 18 songs that's cut. That's cut and dry. There's nothing extra, nothing to take away. That's it, just a flat 18. Pretty good length album. Even though I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now, it's like 75 minutes long, and if you're one of those that prefers short length albums, then probably by the time track 10 rolls around, you're gonna be so tired of hearing this, because like I said, there's very few guest features, and some of them are two guests apiece on a song. So if you can't handle hearing the same person for a long stretch of time, you may want to take this just a song at a time instead of the whole album all the way through, because, and I know personally from past albums I've listened to, if you hear the same voice and it's not grabbing your attention, you're going to lose interest and not hear another word. So anyway, these songs themselves, I have 6 or 7 standout tracks. The album starts with the song The Fiends Are Knocking, which it talks about, if you've known about Hopsin, you've known about this album for a while, you know this album had quite a bit of delay on it before it finally was released to the fans. It went through quite a it was supposed to be in I believe 2012 was supposed to be the release date, but what we got that year, I believe, was Illmind Hopsin 5, and then the release date kept getting pushed further and further back, and we wondered if we were even going to get the album at that point. But then that was when the single started coming out, and it just rolled out. And basically that song is talking about, like, just the fans in general, just basically just like beating on Hopsin's door, like, where's our album at? Can we get our music? Like, and he's like just talking about like how his struggles with recording, and like how the fans feel about his music, how they feel about him not coming out with the music. It's a very solid intro, and it talks about like how the fans feel about what Hopsin's music like does for them, and it's very solid. It flows into the second track, which was the appropriate lead single, Hop Is Back. And this one is like Hop was letting everything out, anything he had to say, he said it on this song. Especially when you turn to the third verse, and he, with the shots that he took at Kendrick, took at Lil Wayne, took at Kanye's Yeezus record, which Yeezus itself was the Hate It or Love It album of 2013, and Hopsin took a shot at that. And if you want to laugh, go look at his Instagram of the pic he snapped of him snapping the Yeezus album in 5 pieces. That's still hilarious to me. But overall, the song is it's a very well done rap song. The beat is it's a very unique kind of beat as far as what I hear, considering I listen to mainstream as well as independent hip hop, and it's a very unique sounding beat to me. Hopsin's verse is just like, it's rapid fire and it's hard hitting, and just be ready for a lyrical onslaught with that song. Go from there to track 3 to Who's There. By the way, I'm not doing track by track. These are just some of my standouts as well. Who's There? This one features Jaron Benton and Dizzy Wright. Jaron starts off the song, then it goes to Dizzy, and Hopsin gets the last verse. The chorus is kind of playing off, you know, like the little knock knock joke. Yeah, it's kind of a little corny hook, but still doesn't take away from the song. All three artists, which you know what you're getting into if you've heard past from this. I'm not gonna lie, hearing this album, this was the first I heard from these guys, and all of them just ripped the beat to shreds. And props to Jaron Benton, to me, has the best verse on the song. Shout out to him. I eagerly await a new album from him, and it will be a day one purchase. You better believe it. Outside of that, we have, you knew I was going to have this as a standout. You see him wearing the dang Strange Music pendant right now. Like, Rip Your Heart Out with Tech 9. I love the beats of the song. I love the artist's flows. I love how they traded off the verses. And also, I just love how Hop threw in the little jokes, which, if you listen to the song, you'll catch them. If you can know where the references are coming from, you'll catch the jokes, and you'll probably crack up as much as me and my friends did first hearing those lines, because to us they were drop dead funny, and it was just great. But the album, it flows very well. It's a very cohesive album. That's always a plus to me. When an album flows very well from song to song, and it's not like too drastic of a beat switch. Like, you have albums that come from people like Rick Ross or DJ Khaled, and the songs don't flow well from one or another. You go from like an R&B song to like a drastic hip hop sound, and it just doesn't flow correctly, and it just kind of screws up the pacing of the album. That's not here. The album flows very well from beginning to end. That's not saying all is well for the album, at least in my opinion. This is going to be where some probably disagree with me on this, as opposed to previous reviews I've done so far on this channel, but do have a couple dud songs. This is, like I said, I always respect you guys' opinions, but you gotta respect mine. So, I just have 2 dud songs, that's it. And it's pretty much the dang love songs. And no, unlike others, I do not hate Dream Forever. That is one of my favorites. The Still Got Love For You, I don't know what it is about that song. I kept giving it multiple listens, even when I'm not listening to the album. It doesn't grow on me, and it's just, I don't have a problem with artists trying to sing their choruses, but that chorus for me on that song, it doesn't work with the song, and it doesn't work with the beat to me. And then also, Good Guys Get Left Behind. I get what he's trying to say in that song, but it just doesn't stand out to me. Like, pretty much, I feel like I'm hearing like a different version of CeeLo's F.U., but it just doesn't work with me as well as that song did. I don't know what it is, but I just don't like it. But that's pretty much the only problems that I have with this album. Like I said, if you're new to it, if you're new to like these kind of long albums, this may seem to drag on for you. It doesn't have that problem with me, because the longest album I've heard is the deluxe version of T.I.'s No Mercy, and that dragged on for like 90 minutes, and I never lost interest in the album. So I don't have a problem with long albums, so this works well for me outside of the 2 duds I just named. But outside of that, it's fun seeing Hopsin get personal on the album on songs like Tears to Snow, where he's talking about his ex-girlfriend thinking he's cheating with all the girls. You see dudes, the girls all want them, and basically he's talking about his ex-girlfriend, thinking he's cheating. He's not cheating, and he just decides to leave it all alone. And then one of my other standouts, and to me was a perfect way to close out the album, the song Catchin In The Rain, where he's talking about, it's kind of like, if you know Hopsin, you know he at times he'll rap as his normal self Marcus, and he'll rap as his alter ego Hopsin. That's what that song is talking about, just kind of like the identity crisis. People only want Hopsin, they don't want Marcus. So he's like, maybe time to bury the Hopsin ego and just go on. The album itself just has a variety of stuff, like a variety of topics that you may not hear from other releases, especially like more mainstream releases. Some of the stuff he talks about on here you wouldn't hear on a normal album, like on the song Old Friend, which I believe is billed as Illmind of Hopsin 6 as well. I'm not sure if that's still standing, but he's talking about his old best friend that, you know, fell into the drug life, and just talking about why, like, why would you go to these drugs? I tried to warn you, like, and it's just fun seeing, and it's kind of like a personal, really, like, you see Hopsin releasing all these emotions and stuff throughout the album, and it's just a refreshing thing to hear. All the instrumentals, whether I like them or not, like I said, most of the instrumentals on here I like. They're very unique. They fit Hopsin well for the most part. The especially the beat to Dream Forever with the subject matter he's going at, it fits very well. It's kind of a light atmosphere, kind of like, and I hate to do this comparison because someone's going to take it the wrong way, I bet. Kind of like the atmosphere you have from like Drake's Hold On, We're Going Home. Not exactly like the sound overall, but like the sound you get from that beat. It's kind of like a different version of that. It's a light, kind of airy, dreamy kind of atmosphere type of beat, and it fits the song very well, and that actually does fit Hopsin very well for what he's going at for that song. But overall, it's a solid release from Hopsin. If you've listened to Hopsin before, like I said, this is the first thing I've ever heard from Hopsin. I never heard Raw. I heard of the album, but like I said, where I live, it's hard to find a couple albums, and I was lucky to find this. I can't find the Raw album. I may just snag it from iTunes at some point. But for an introduction to Hopsin, this is a very well done album. I thoroughly enjoy it. If you're not a fan of Hopsin, or you're just looking for someone new to listen to, definitely see if you can find this album, or just grab it from iTunes or Amazon, because it's well worth the money. It's a very well done album, and I would give this album, honestly, a solid 8 out of 10. It's a very solid album. It's just those two dud songs kind of kill it a little. The two duds that I mentioned earlier, the Good Guys Left Behind, Still Got Love For You, those kind of kill it a little bit for me. But that's the only problem I have with this. Otherwise, it's a very well done album, and it should definitely be in any hip hop band's collection. Ugh. But that's all I've got for you guys today. Any album you guys want me to review or do a quick little video on, or maybe a single, just bear in mind I do listen to most types of music, so try to, you know, don't just limit me to hip hop. Give me some R&B and pop if you listen to that kind of stuff. But any album you guys want me to review, throw that mug in the comments and I'll get to it as soon as possible. But until then, this is Strangely Musical. Deuces.